I'm Janie Ho. I was a former deputy editor of growth and audience development at the New York Daily News. Former because I was just laid off with several other leaders. It's my first layoff, so I could write a guide to being laid off. So if anyone's interested in that, come talk to me. At the Daily News, I oversaw about 12 products, everything but the paper, but a little bit in the paper also. So that includes website, homepage, SEO, analytics, 10 social platforms, email newsletters, alerts, mobile, desktop, email, voice tech, smart briefs, podcasts, copy editing. So that was kind of what I oversaw. And I was an analyst at LinkedIn, and before that I was at CBS News, ABC News, GQ, New York Magazine. So a little bit of tech, a little bit of journalism, and then I got in the growth world. So we hope to have a lot of great insights today. We have a fireside chat, Mastering the Media Mix with Fubo, Vincent Eterlet, the senior marketing director at Fubo, and I'll let him get into how he manages a really eclectic mix of complex marketing tactics in a really competitive landscape. Is streaming competitive? I think going up against those giants. And they've seen a lot of success. So I'll let him get into that. But I'll first go into our 5-point agenda so you know what you're going to look for. So what's propelled Fubo to success in a crowded field? Leveraging the diverse media channels in order of priority. So what are the 4 main marketing tactics that he's using? It's kind of like being in social media. You do what you're doing, but you're not sure if it's right. So it's good to get some insight because we're all doing it in a vacuum. The optimizing digital advertising. So including, we can talk a little bit about the iOS Scan 4 data updates and how that might affect how you collect your data and how people are consuming, say, like short form video now. And the power of streaming and the evolving media mix, and we're going to give you some free resources and some tools. And then what's next? What does he have his eye on for the following year? So how does a streaming giant leverage a complex marketing mix? So we have Vincent Eterlet, Senior Marketing Director at Fubo. He'll get into it, but it's a cord-cutting TV streaming, cord-cutting alternative TV streaming platform. Heavy focus on sports, news, entertainment, and he focuses on user acquisition and subscriber growth.
Yeah,
and he's
another subscription app.
Yeah, and he is heavily featured in the growth marketing and marketing speaking circuit. So we're very lucky to have him here. So Vincent, a little bit about you and Fubo and what you oversee.
Well, thank you very much for the introduction, Jenny. I'm Vincent. I've been at Fubo for 7 years. I oversee the user acquisition on app marketing, so that includes mobile and also connected device, so like Roku, Fire TV, Samsung, LG. So Fubo, in short line, Fubo, we're a cord-cutting service focused on sports. We do carry premium channel, also news, entertainment, and the idea is come for the sport, stay for the rest. At Fubo, we're available also on mobile app, connected device, web as well. And our goal has always been user acquisition across all the device, and especially on mobile app marketing. As soon as we started acquiring user, our strategy was to use the app stores, both app stores, the Google and the App Store, as a channel of distribution and user acquisition. So all the tactics we've been doing in the App Store are for user acquisition and not just like to let our product just like seeding for the user just to being used.
Okay, sounds great. And just to remind everyone, how is it accessed? What are the different ways it's accessed? Like on mobile?
Yeah, so we're on mobile, so iOS, Android, desktop, CTV, so all the sticks, Roku, Fire TV, and all the smart TVs.
Okay, connected TV. And about how big is your team that you oversee?
Yeah, so I oversee a team of 3 people, and our global marketing team is like around 20 people.
Wow, okay. You get a lot done with 3 people.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, we're against streaming giant. YouTube TV is one of our direct competitor, so we have to be smarter, more flexible, and going faster than them.
Okay, sounds great. Thank you so much for that. So what has propelled Fubo to success? So I'll just do a little bragging for you. So just last year, 2023, Reader's Digest, People, US News, Yahoo, Times Guide, Engadget, they were all singing your praises, saying finally a better way to watch professional sports, the best pro sports alternative, best cable alternative, best sports streaming.
Yep.
You're up against YouTube, Hulu. So how did you propel it to success with your marketing mix, and what differentiates it?
Yeah. Our marketing mix has been super important. Our idea of acquiring user is acquiring a user via all those different platforms, but at the end of the day, we want an household. It's an household who watch TV, and where everyone will enjoy the products. And I think this can apply to a lot of different apps here that are present, because it's better when your product is being used by multiple people in the household to justify first the cost of the subscription or even like the engagement of your product. If you're only like targeting a user, this user might be volatile and change. While you're targeting a household, you have at least 3-4 people and probably more that end up using your products. So this has been always like our first strategy: get the user on mobile and get the users to use our product through various devices, and if possible, with more people in their household.
So you're not just targeting the sports fanatic, even though that is like what you're popular for.
Correct.
You're targeting the whole household and how they're using the app.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, sounds good. So leveraging diverse media. So this is what I found pretty interesting in our prep call. So in order of priority, it's ASO, App Store Optimization.
Yeah, organic is free, so you can spend as much time on organic to acquire like a user for free. So it's the key if you want to show up.
And then TV, including connected TV. So connected TV devices. So I'll have you explain a little about what that means to be marketing on connected TV. And then paid social, primarily TikTok, Snapchat, Meta, Facebook, Instagram. And then SEM, mobile, cross-device marketing, attribution. Social, I did run at the, I worked at LinkedIn and I ran that at the Daily News, so I'll have a little input there also. But can you explain a little bit about those four, and then a little bit about what connected TV marketing is? Everybody may not be aware.
So connected TV, so right now the connected TV is like the fancy word that everyone has heard. I'm sure you have vendors or apps right now who are looking to advertise on connected TV. It's split like in two categories for us. We're advertising directly our app directly with our vendor, Roku, Fire TV. So all those banners that we're seeing on connected TV, those are direct deals with those brands. And then there's like the new type of connected TV, because there's so much media streaming, so many subscription services that are monetized on the subscription, but also on ad revenue. So that increase like those impression for ad revenue on all those services. So now there's a large volume of paid impression on CTV. So you have like all the fast channel that are owned by the Roku Plus, the Vizio Plus, the Samsung Plus, Pluto, Tubi, where you can buy advertising. So it's like buying on TV, but on streaming service.
And it's easier.
It's easier. Because you can monitor, you can use your MMP to connect and to monitor. So you have like a better visibility of where your dollar are going into those type of advertising.
MMP, just so everybody knows, it's mobile measurement partner. It's how you gather your attribution. So it's ad insertion, like buying an ad on TV, and then working directly with your connected TV devices, so Roku, Samsung. Paid, so a little bit about your ASO, like high level?
Yeah, so ASO, so we do, like everyone is doing, checking your keywords is key, changing your keywords, updating them as much as possible. I'm less into the creative anymore, like what we used to be like 5-6 years ago. We are changing our creative, but it's not, I found it important, but probably like less important than it used to be. Where it's important now, we're seeing Google and iOS developing their live in-app events, and those are the first thing. They're taking so much space into the App Store that those are for us more important now than just our usual creatives. So those are our core tactics, updating our keywords. I heard like the previous session mentioned the app titles, the subtitles, those are super important. And it's what will help you to rank and to attract the right users. And I always see the App Store as a snowball down the hill. Like you start with a small snowball, and the more downloads you get, the bigger you get, and the easier it gets. So when we started Fubo, we were doing like maybe 10, 20 downloads a day. And now we're about like 10,000 downloads. So they were like, we started, we couldn't compete with NFL, we couldn't compete with NBA, but little by little, we were able like to get those keywords where users like were looking for us.
And your paid social, so your priorities are TikTok, and then Meta and Snapchat.
Yeah. So full disclosure, when we started TikTok 2 years ago, I didn't believe into it. And it was one of my teammates, younger, that was using TikTok that I didn't use at the time, who wanted to test. After 2 years, TikTok has first changed the paid social creative and paid social way of acquiring users, because we're mimicking strategy that we're doing on TikTok now on Snapchat, Meta, and YouTube, because we consider also YouTube as a part of one of our paid social. So TikTok has been a really interesting channel to develop. We had some, it was not like overnight that we become successful. It did take a lot of work.
It is a lot of work.
It was long. But no, like we're really satisfied where we are. Okay. And one of the difficulty that we found with TikTok is the amount of creative that you need to produce. It's the first time, like you will always have the marketer excuses like it's the creative fatigue when your performance are going down. And of course there's some creative fatigue, but as soon as we switch to TikTok compared to traditionally Meta, we see the creative fatigue right away. After like 1 or 2 days, your ad were needed like to go to the garbage, and you needed like a new ad. So this was the difficulty. But if you have the time to do videos, TikTok has great capability with your mobile third parties, and if you can produce videos, and they can be really simple. Usually, it's the simple stuff that works on TikTok. You will get traction.
And I think you have some resources later for small companies on how they can use TikTok and whatnot. I'll do a quick aside on TikTok. As a news org, they're very reluctant to use TikTok because we're looking at subscribers and page views. And people just stay in Instagram, stay in TikTok. There are ways, I mean, I think everybody knows this, but if you're not privy to it, there's a personal account, business account, and ads creator account. The business account, if you have over 1,000 followers, you could put a link in your bio. You can also put a link in your video in the TikTok shop and TikTok storefront. So 2 out of 5 Americans, so that's 40% of Americans, they use TikTok as a search engine. 1 out of 10 Gen Zers rely on TikTok more than Google. TikTok is a legit competitor to Google and to Amazon, especially with in-app purchasing. And then of course, you could buy in the app or they could buy on your website, but it's more effective in the app. And that's, they also have something called TikTok Small Business Summit, and that's free for everyone to learn how to use TikTok for business if that's not something that you're using right now. The news orgs are very skeptical of using TikTok, but they're getting quite a bit of returns for creating a cohort for those subscribers who's going to pay like $4 a month to subscribe to like the New York Times and the Daily News. So that's a little bit on my thing on TikTok. We were very skeptical, but if you have the time, which most news orgs don't, it's growing quite a bit as a direct competitor to Google, which we all know is a little bit more difficult if you're in the SEO space, especially with AI overviews, much less traffic. And Facebook, #1 driver to websites, period, and news orgs, going way down now. So a little aside on social media mix. So that was great. And then, let me see, sorry. Okay, so how to find users in sports, a little bit about your audience. How do you find you, and then your targeting.
Yeah, so targeting, so I understand like sports might not apply like to everyone here today at the event, but targeting is targeting. So at the end, we all use the same technique. And one of the things that we were heavily leveraging before scan and before was IDFA. Like we were able like to know our user, we were able to create lookalike. It was the best. It was super easy. And then all the Apple privacy happened, and it was like more difficult to be able like to recreate lookalike and focus. And also even all of our channel, paid social, and all the other channel were also having difficulty to be able to help us targeting users. So we had like to be smarter. We had like to think better. And one of our key thing that we started is like playing with the different option. We're a streaming service. We were looking like for a user that can use the app or apps in a good environment. So for example, suddenly we targeted like only user who were using Wi-Fi instead of like network. So those type of things you can even, then we were like looking at networks, who are the most expensive networks. So we were like avoiding like to target like cheaper networks to be able to target like more premium type of users. So it was like really playing with all those options, like the region, like when there's like a sports city that is doing better, like targeting more the sports city. So this was just like a new learning curve. And then thankfully, like we were able like to rebuild new look-like audience, recreating cohorts. So it's a better place now.
Okay, let's talk about optimizing digital advertising, including the new iOS Scan 4, which is a big update to Scan 3, which focused on top funnel, so just awareness, and now more about engagement and conversions. And that's more evolving with how people are consuming video. So a little bit about optimizing your digital advertising with that new data update.
So like I mentioned, what's great with Scan 4.0 is suddenly we have like a new flow of data that is spiking. It's really like a huge difference from when we were first introduced to Scan. So we were seeing again like data, we're able like to accurately understanding what our users are doing in real time. And what was nice about it is it was like really seamless, the transition to new Scan 4.0. So I really advise anyone like to update their MMP or update their Apple SDKs or all of whatever like you guys are using. This will help like to connect the dots, and you will see again a lot of data that will help you like to get accurate data first and then target better users.
So it's better creative optimization insight. And it's an automatic update on your partner's part. So we're to know how to use it.
Yeah, suddenly we are seeing like resurfacing not just the campaign level, but the entire ad group, the creative level. So this has been great.
Can you talk about your use of the Google UAC, the Universal App Campaign? So it's an automated ad type that helps you get app installs and in-app conversions. So that's powered by machine learning. So how do you use that?
Yeah, so Google UAC has always been interesting for us because we're not a gaming app. And we've always seen like at the beginning, Google was really focused on gaming apps with their ad network. And little by little, like since there were more apps and it was not just about gaming, we were able to get good results. And the key for us with Google UAC is adding as many as in-app events as you can to optimize. We're not just looking at app install, but adding like way deeper in the funnel, and not just our first KPI was getting the user to subscribe, but even after that.
Can you tell me a little bit about your KPIs that you mainly focus on?
Yeah, so we're a subscription service, so our primary thing is getting the user to subscribe. And then it's video engagement, so that's a good one that we're using. And then it's little things, like for example, we know that a user with DVR like shows or live event is a powerful users. So we had that as our in-app event to continue like optimizing, targeting like those top users.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you so much. So you mentioned the 4 main channels that you prioritize. That's ASO, connected TV, paid social, and SEM mobile. Sorry. Can you tell me about what do you see for the evolution of consuming media?
Yeah. So right now, like I mentioned, so everyone is watching video. It's a lot of streaming service. TikTok is redefining our creative.
TikTokification of all social.
Yeah, and what's fascinating is I'm sure like people have seen like a surge of click in their third media party, and those click are actually like non-click because most of the platform are moving to something called engaged view, which is like kind of redefining the industry. Because I'm a little bit old school on that. For me, a click is 100% more important than a view through attribution. Sometimes I even say my team to not look at view through attribution because we want that interaction. But no, like on some of our platform, out of nowhere, those view through are changing into clicks because they are what they call view engagement. And this has been defined by TikTok.
And how do you keep up with the industry? So you mentioned a blog to me when we had our prep call, and then the apps flyer index. So
yeah. What's been great in the industry is like the app industry is like a small family. So we have the same event. We know a lot of each other. So really like chatting with each other is helpful. Like to know which platform works, what's the pros and cons of each of the platform.
Blog.
And we use one of the blog, Mobile Dev, like probably everyone.
Mobile Dev.
Yeah, Mobile Dev. Yeah.
Mobile Dev. It's by my name
Eric Safar. Yeah.
Yeah.
Eric
So
Safar,
that's the blog where he keeps up, and then the apps flyer index, and then your MMP. Keep up with all your MMPs and what they're posting on social media. So hopefully that was helpful to everyone. We touched on 5 points. We went pretty fast. So I'm Janie Ho. I would love to connect with anyone, and I love speaking. I'm actually an adjunct professor and a guest speaker guest lecturer at NYU. So I love training on social media and digital. You can get me on LinkedIn, but I have open DMs on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, and there's another one that I'm forgetting, but all of them. And then how can people keep in touch with you?
Yeah, LinkedIn. Well, thank you very much, guys.